Hi, my name is Golden, and this is a tutorial for how to record the Big Brother live feeds on your personal computer. The first thing you're going to need to do is download Open Broadcaster software. This is a free program that all your favorite streamers use. Um, so you're going to get this downloaded on your computer first. Then, in order to separate it from any other scenes you might be using already if you are a streamer, you'll want to create a new scene collection. So choose Scene Collection, New, and we'll give it a name like Big Brother Live Feeds. Now we've got a scene on the Big Brother live feeds, and in order to actually capture the live feeds, we need to import them. So we'll click this plus button here under sources and choose browser, and we'll create a new browser source. Now, if you're capturing multiple cameras, you might want to specify which camera this is. In my case, we'll just say quad cam. Ideally, we'll be able to capture all of the feeds in this method, but for this example, I'm just going to show you how to do it with the quad cam. So now we've got a browser source, and we need to copy paste the live feeds URL here. So copy paste that into the URL section. Then we need to choose the dimensions of the output. So in my case, I'm going to recommend that you do 1280 by 720. You could do 1920 by 1080. However, the video is going to take up a lot of space if you do. And I don't really think the quality of the live feeds is up to par with 1080, although this season could be different. So I'm just going to recommend 1280 by 720. And then we need to choose control audio via OBS. This will capture the audio output of the feeds as well. So you can leave everything else alone and click OK. And you'll notice that now inside the preview window here, we actually have a link to the live feeds themselves as if we were browsing them in a browser. So now the next step is we need to be able to interact with this because you don't want to capture it looking like this. So if you right click, there is an option to interact. And now this acts as if I'm in a browser. So I can move up and down and around and click on camera 1 or camera 2 and it will load that camera. So if I click quad view, now we have quad view in the context here. There's only one problem, and that is that for some reason on this page, the scroll bar doesn't always work, so I can't scroll down. If you run into that problem, like I just conveniently did, I'll show you how you can get around it. So I'll close this for now, and we'll interact with it again in a second. But in order to interact with it, I need to edit the size of this capture. So if I go into right-click here and choose Properties, I can actually change this to 1920 by 1080 for just a second. We'll switch it back in a minute. But by doing that, now when I interact, I have more screen space to work with, so I can full screen the feeds. Okay? Hopefully that's making sense so far. We'll close out of this for now. And now, since I don't want to actually have a 1920 by 1080 capture, I'm going to right-click and reset this back to 1280 by 720. You probably could leave it alone if you wanted to. But I find that cropping the video makes most sense to me. So let's talk about cropping now. I'll make this window a little bit bigger. When you're in the capture section here, if you hold down Alt and then click one of the borders of the feed, you'll be able to cut out stuff you don't want to capture. So I can cut out around all of the different sides of the feed just so that we have the quad cam in view. And now if I right click and choose transform, I can fit it to the screen. And now it takes up the entire space. So we've got the feeds, all 4 of them here. And you can notice down here, you see these bars moving up and down. That's because we enabled it to capture the audio. So it's actually capturing the audio from the quad cam here as well. So we'll get both the video and the audio. A couple more things that we should set up before we say this is good to go. If we go into the file settings, the first things that we'll want to do is make sure that, let me make sure I find the right window here. For video, yes, that makes sense. We're talking about video. For video, you'll want to make sure that these are set to the resolution you want to record at. So in my case, like I said, 1280 by 720 is what I'm going for. And I'm going for a frame rate of 30. You could set this higher, but I don't think the live feeds are captured in 60 FPS. I could be wrong. It also will make your video size much larger. So I would recommend 1280 720 at 30. If you want that pristine quality, again, you could go 1920 by 1080 at 60. It's up to you and how much space you think you have. Okay, so that's one thing we want to set up there is the video. The other option we want to set up here, just in the output settings, these could vary depending on the quality of your recordings. You could set this bit rate much lower than I set it. I put it at 10,000 just as like a default for my streaming. So you could play with this and lower the bit rate, and you'd probably still be fine if you keep it in the couple thousands. I probably wouldn't go lower than like 2,000 on this, just for quality purposes. You can also specify where you want your videos to go with this recording path option here. That's where they'll output to when you're done. And I would probably leave the rest of the settings alone here. I don't think you really need to mess with anything here. But one important thing you could do if you want to just record forever and not have to turn off your computer, you can choose this automatic file splitting and split it by time, and you can specify a time. So that way every, like, let's say 90 minutes, it would stop recording one video and start the next, and it would just continuously do that, so you never have to turn off your recording. The only thing you'd have to be aware of about this is if Paramount Plus's website itself stops the live feeds after so many hours of viewing, you might have to refresh the scene in order to get it to continue. I don't remember if Paramount Plus stops you after like 4 hours of watching the live feeds. I want to say they don't. So hopefully that's not a problem. But here you can specify however many minutes you want for your video to record, and then make sure you click apply. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You'll notice that you don't actually hear the live feeds in this video, even though it's capturing the live feed audio. You can see the bar is still moving up and down here. It's capturing that audio. So when I click start recording here, it will record the live feeds, video and audio, and output them. And you can keep doing whatever you want on your computer, and it will not, sorry, I just dropped stuff on my computer. It will not alter the output in any way. So you could, in theory, do other things on your computer, and you'll still be capturing the live feeds to watch later in video form. And you could even go back and open those videos and watch them, and it won't interrupt the recording of the current live feed. So hopefully this is helpful. One thing I wasn't able to do that hopefully somebody else can figure out for me is I tried opening multiple instances of OBS to record multiple cameras at the same time, but I wasn't able to actually get the video to render in both windows at the same time. The second time or when you open OBS for the second time, I can show you here, it will not work the way we want it to. So you can launch it anyway, and then if I try to pull up another camera here, even though I'm using the exact same settings, it will load the website, but it doesn't actually follow up and load the cameras. So I think there's something in the way, and we tried messing with some other settings to get it to work, but it wasn't responsive. So hopefully somebody else can figure out that puzzle, and we can record multiple cameras at the same time. But even if we can't, all you would need in theory here are 4 or 5 computers to capture the entirety of the live feeds. And if you're just capturing on your own, I would recommend capturing the quad cam, and then you only have to capture one feed, and you'd, in theory, get everything. And if I remember correctly, the audio on the feeds outputs one set of audio in the left ear and the other in the right ear. So you should even be able to get all of the audio from both pairs of feeds if you do the quad cam capture. So hopefully this helps. Let me know if you have any feedback or helpful advice that you discovered from trying this on your own in the comments section. Obviously, as a community, we're all trying to figure out this new stream capture world where we don't have the rewind. So anything that you can provide that could add on to what I've shown here in the comment section, that would be awesome. And hopefully you can spread this around to everybody that you know that likes Big Brother. Thanks for watching.